Welcome to this Spirit Gathering Conference. Today is March 18th, 2014, and my name is Reverend Judy Myers, and I'm located in Michigan. Tonight our topic is laughter, and we are so happy to have you all join us. Tonight we are meeting as a conversation council, and the objective of this evening is to have fun. So I invite you to speak at any time, taking care to let the current speaker finish before you begin, and remember our intent for this evening. Let us take a moment now to settle and center ourselves and let go of the events of this day and to begin to enter the deeper sacred space within ourselves. Relaxing into the now and moving into a space of communion. Tonight we invite those ancestors who have a light heart, a sense of humor, and a love of laughter to join our sacred circle, as they may surround us with their energy to help us explore the feelings we sometimes hold so deep inside. Tonight may we give expression to those feelings, that we may heal our hearts with laughter. Now let us imagine that we are joining together, sacred heart to sacred heart, with every other person on this call right now. Now let us imagine that we are joining together in a circle with a dancing flame at the center. Imagine a spoke of orange light coming from the center of the circle to your heart for each person on the call tonight and those listening after. The orange light is the color of the second chakra, the seat of feelings and emotion. Now imagine a spoke of blue light coming from the dancing flame to your heart and to the heart of each person on the call tonight and those listening after. The blue light is the color of the fifth chakra, the chakra of expression, which gives voice to our feelings to heal our spirits. Now we are connected, sacred heart to sacred heart. Now let us set our intentions. We listen to one another with compassion and curiosity. We ask for what we need and offer what we can. We deepen our connection with one another and the divine. May this sharing serve us, our communities, and the planet. And so it is. When someone is laughing, don't you want to know what's so funny? Can you not at least smile when you hear laughter? Humor is infectious. The sound of roaring laughter is far more contagious than any cough, sniffle, or sneeze. When laughter is shared, it binds people together and increases happiness and intimacy. In addition to the domino effect of joy and amusement, laughter also triggers healthy physical changes in the body. Who would have guessed that humor and laughter strengthen your immune system, boost your energy, diminish pain, and protect you from the damaging effects of stress? And best of all, this priceless medicine. Welcome. Who's joining us?
This is Dina.
Hi, Dina. Thanks
Hi.
for joining. *6 to mute your phone for us. And our topic tonight is laughter. Humor and laughter strengthen your immune system, boost your energy, diminish pain, and protect you from the damaging effects of stress. And best of all, this priceless medicine is fun, free, and easy to use. Humor takes you to a higher place, like Mary Poppins, a place closer to God, and where you can view the world from a more relaxed, positive, creative, and joyful, balanced perspective. We use laughter in so many ways: lighthearted joking, storytelling. It all brings a smile to anyone sharing your space. Just a smile can brighten someone's day, especially your own. It's amazing what happens when you put a smile on your face, even when you're not feeling happy. If you pay attention, you find many different types of humor and laughter. And in spite of ourselves, the more tragic a situation, the darker the humor becomes. It is definitely a way for us to cope with the horrors we experience in this earthly realm. We can find this disturbing on some levels, but on the other hand, maybe this is judgment that we're experiencing. As different as we are, as all we are, so are the various ways we have as a species to cope. And humor is the way to do that. So I was thinking, why do you suppose that dog or animal therapy is so popular? Well, I can say, first of all, animals seem to represent unconditional love. They go with the flow. And, by the way, they make us laugh. They don't care how they look or what someone thinks. They just be a funny character, make us laugh, feel good, and then move on, leaving smiles and chuckles in their wake. Far too often, we let judgment of others and ourselves get in the way of letting go and just plain laughing for the sheer joy of it. We are concerned about how we look when we laugh, how we sound when we laugh, or we judge these things in others and miss the fun of the laughter entirely. We miss so much when we miss out on a good laugh. You know, I'm an animal lover, and I really enjoy the emails that I receive from friends and family. So one in particular I've saved on my desktop so that it's always there, and I can just click it whenever I'm in need of a good laugh therapy. And the animals in it are so funny that no matter how much I watch it, how often I watch it, by the time I am through that little video, my face hurts from laughing out loud. It's an absolutely, positively wonderful feeling. Often, we use humor to diffuse difficult situations or to get a point across without hurting feelings. Humor has been used in healthcare since Florence Nightingale, but it's only been recognized as part of the healthcare in recent years. Books about laughter therapy are numerous. Tapes, CDs, DVDs, they're available with one and only one thing in mind: to make patients laugh until their faces hurt and their sides ache. It releases those feel-good hormones called endorphins. If laughter will benefit a cancer patient or the elderly, just think what it can do for you. There are innumerable things out there they're especially on the internet to encourage and teach us how to laugh. As laughter, humor, and play become an integrated part of your life, your creativity will flourish, and new discoveries for playing with friends, coworkers, acquaintances, and loved ones will occur to you daily. One fabulous movie to watch, if you haven't, is Patch Adams. That is a very eye-opening movie that, in my opinion, anyone that has anything to do with other people should take the time to watch. It's how to reach people, how to connect to people. So my question to everyone tonight is, what role has humor played in your life? What things have you encountered that laughter and humor have helped you get through, enjoy more, help someone to further your spiritual journey as well as others' spiritual journey? And so right now, I would really like to have us unmute our phones so that we can have a conversation as a group. We aren't a real big group. I think it ought to go quite well so that we can interact with one another, hear our chuckles and our sighs, and enjoy each other's company. So I would really like to have everybody *6 their phones so that we can have a good conversation about humor and laughter. And whoever would like to go first, that's great.
I'll share an experience for me with laughter where it was really healing. I was living in South Dakota at the time, and I spent all of my life, 40 years, out in the sun. And I have just a little bit of Cherokee blood in me, so most of me is real sensitive to the sunshine, and I ended up getting a little cracked lip, and it turned into a skin cancer. And I went to a couple of holy men, and I got some doctoring done and everything. And then there was a holy man in my neighborhood, and he and I were becoming friends. And he said he'd doctor me, but I hadn't seen results. And the way the doctors were talking, it'd be like a little mole remover. So I went in for the surgery thinking I'd come home and have 1 or 2 little stitches and be fine. And it turned out that they took off my lip and all the skin from my lip to my nose, and because there wasn't a plastic surgeon available to sew me up, they put a piece of tape on it and sent me 120 miles back home until they could find a doctor, and they did the next day. And bless his heart, my holy man came over that night, and that's one of the ways that he heals is with laughter. And boy, he was telling so many stories that by the time I went to bed that night, I had forgotten the horror of the experience of, coming home with no skin on my face. And the stories that we told and the laughter, it wrote everything that you said. It's what I experienced as far as the freedom from the stress and the healing and how it all worked out. It was just a very powerful experience. And one of the things that I learned about the Lakota people, too, is that is one of their main medicines, is laughter. And in their way, if they tell you a funny story and everybody laughs, you know how we just tell a joke one time? They're just the opposite. They'll tell it. If somebody laughs, an hour later they'll say it again. An hour later they'll tell the same story. And each time, because you already know the story, it gets shorter and shorter. And then by the time, if they stay all the day and they're going to spend the night, by the time they get ready to go to bed, they'll be saying one word of that story, and all those grandmas and grandpas will just be cracking up. It's amazing. Laughter heals.
That would be wonderful to experience, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Could I ask a question of our friend who had this experience in North Dakota?
Yeah, South Dakota. Uh-huh.
South Dakota, sorry. This is a tremendous story. About how long did it take for your lips and face to heal? I mean, was there an immediate effect from the holy man's rendering of laughter stories, or did this take time, or did you think of them later and the healing continued
It was
through transference?
I would say it was a turning point in the healing process because, believe me, that day as they did the surgery, I happened to go into the bathroom before they put the bandage on, and when I saw my face, I was in shock. I was horrorized, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got back and Sam was there like that, it took me out of the nightmare, and it brought me into focus with just the laughter and joy of life. I mean, he was funny. He was saying, "Where are they going to take the skin to do the skin graft, Star?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, Sam." I said, "If they take it from my ass, I guess my man's going to be kissing my ass the rest of his life," you know. So we got into jokes like that.
Oh my God!
It was just joyful. And then after the surgery, as soon as the bandages were off, you know, he started doing sweat lodges with me and everything. And so. And then the doctor was real remarkable, too, because he knew my situation as a nonprofit minister out on the res. And so for like $20, I'd go in for office visits. And I must have had to go in for like 10 more little bitty revisions. But and it was just like I could feel the presence of spirit with me from the turning point of Sam's introducing that laughter all the way through it, and how it unfolded was just so magical in a sense. And I'm just grateful that, you know, most people don't even realize that I have that. And I'm shocked because I see it every day.
Terrific. In psychology, we call that reframing the issue, but sometimes that stays right in three-dimensionality, whereas what you're talking about with a holy man and what we all are able to do is you moved it to the higher dimensions, and that's where the higher consciousness that came in. So thank you for sharing that.
And thanks for your insight, too.
It truly is remarkable what we can achieve when we have a leg up, and it's very remarkable when that leg up is humor and laughter.
So I can share. I'm really grateful. This is Amy from California. I'm really grateful to have my good health and vitality and stamina and physical strength and mental clarity and emotional flow back. But there was a really hard time right after I took the position of residing bishop, where I'd been diagnosed with really severe heavy metal poisoning, and I started a course of drugs, call it chemotherapy, to take out the heavy metals, and it took out all the stuff my cells needed for life, right along with the heavy metals, and I went down really into the pit of ill health in every possible way. And I couldn't do much. I couldn't do energy work. I couldn't meditate. I couldn't focus enough to read very well. And I couldn't move. I couldn't digest food. I couldn't breathe. I was really sick. And somehow, I don't remember when or how, I got a hold of these DVDs from the library, and you can hear me laughing just to tell you. And it showed Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David. And back in the day when I had TV, I had seen that on a channel, and I was just like, I can't watch that. That's people screaming at each other. I just can't watch that. But, you know, at the bottom of the barrel, left to my own devices, with nothing to do, nothing to distract me, I started watching these, and they were horrifying, and they were hilarious, because the guy who wrote the show, it's the same culture I grew up in, and to see this stuff like called out and made naked and visible, and to be laughing at it, was incredibly healing. I mean, it broke through my despair. It broke through my listlessness and deep, deep sadness and depression. And it just lifted my spirits because it was so everyday and so petty and so funny the way that he portrayed it. And I really think that was the place and time where my healing started to turn around. And I still had a long way to go. But that laughter, I just think of it and I get this big, goofy grin on my face. And I'm so grateful for that laughter.
That's fantastic. Does anybody remember I've been trying to bring it up in my mind all month. There was a doctor that got very, very sick, and he wrote a book about
Norman Cousins.
Thank you. That book.
Anatomy of Healing.
That's it. Thank you so much.
He used infusions of vitamin C for the physiology, and he used humor for the psychological, we would say psycho-spiritual.
Yes. And I believe as far as a book, his was one of the first that really showed us what an impact laughter can have on people. And I'm going to segue my way into my own story. In February, I flew to Savannah and then drove with my brother and his wife to Florida to the Mayo Clinic, where he had rectal cancer surgery, which resulted in, fortunately, a temporary ileostomy. And when I first got down there, the tension between my brother and his wife was palatable and truly horrible for me to be walking into. And that it was very difficult walking into the hospital with them and stuff. And that morning, I'm walking behind them, and I'm going, they can't go in to this major surgery, life-changing surgery, at odds with one another. So in my 67-year-old gait, I managed to get in front of my 60-year-old sibling and started walking real goofy, and they started laughing. And I turned around and I said, you can't talk the talk unless you're going to walk the walk. So get it together and let's go in and do this and get this done. And I truly believe that I was divinely guided for that move, because it definitely wasn't something that I was particularly prone to do, was, call attention to myself in a silly manner. But at that point in time, if I'd had a clown outfit that I could have materialized on my body, I'd had it on. And the silly walk and words seemed to work, and we entered the hospital laughing instead of crying. And for the next 2 weeks, we laughed, we made jokes, we talked about the fact that she was married to one a-hole, she was married to two, and we, it's where you introduce the dark humor to have the belly laughs to make the healing start. And I'm happy to say that he's doing quite well. He's starting in on chemotherapy now, and we're going to continue with the laughs, and we're going to continue with the jibes with each other. And laughter is definitely a way that we're going to manage to get through all of this. And there was nothing else to be done that day but to make it make somebody laugh so that we could get the tension to break. And that was the only way it happened.
I'm hearing some background noise. If you don't have your phone muted using your mute button or *6, please make sure you do that so we have clear line.
Thank you. Does anybody else have a laugh story they'd like to share?
Hello?
I have another. Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, okay. This is Nancy. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Okay. I don't have one particular story. I just wanted to share that just some of what laughter means to me and has meant to me in my life. Ever since I was young, I always would take note that when there was laughter and we were joking around or there was humor between me and my friends or me and my family or even teachers, that I felt better and that life seemed easier and there was levity. And I always held on to humor and laughter and joking around. And as I grew older, I began to notice that that when I had terms for it, that how I felt was in flow, in flow with the universe and, the natural order of things, a sense of well-being that would start as soon as the laughter started, as soon as the joking started. And I continue to see that in different parts of my life. With my medical patients, I would see that if I injected humor into things and that it lightened the situation up. But what was even more important was that the communication seemed to be better when there was humor involved, and it put people at ease. And then even with healing clients, I would notice that actually there were two people in particular. One was a man who, no matter what state of mind he was in when he would come for a session, if we talked about rock music and joked around about anecdotes about rock musicians through the years, we're all from the same era, the 60s, and that we would be laughing and it would not only settle things down, but his energy would be enhanced, and we'd always know when it would be time to do the table work and when things were really in flow. And the same thing happened with another woman who we would sit and talk about pop culture and ridiculous things that were happening with celebrities and things like that, and there was a lot of laughter all the time, and that's exactly what she needed to get her energy moving. So it played this kind of pervasive role in all aspects of my life, and that's what I wanted to share about it.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
This is the other Judy. This is extraordinary tonight, and it's very much what we all need. It's what our world needs, in my view. I have had a lifetime of ups and downs, like many of us, but I had laughter that I learned from my parents, and I've always been able to use laughter. I'm known as the book lady, as an adult, as the book lady, and the joke person. I became a clown minister. I don't use it all the time, but I use that mentality, and it comes naturally. It's not a shtick. It has become part of who I am, which I think that I'm hearing from my colleagues here. I taught graduate courses at the university on play, humor, and creativity. And some of the most sober, serious people imaginable were in my classes because of their lives. And when they learned to break through and laugh, they could understand play. And they could look at very serious crisis situations and bring laughter to that in their individual circumstances. And they could feel free exactly as we were all talking about. So there is this consciousness lifting aspect. I started all my classes with books of poetry, children's songs, and joke books. People would arrive on time, which is very, very hard to come to university classes when you're a very busy person, because they would look forward to the jokes. And so this became something that they learned to do with students, clients, patients, and their own families. So I always have jokes. I carry joke books in my car. I may have 10 or 15, and I give them to people that I meet sometimes, and they just thank me. So I'm pleased as punch, as Hubert Humphrey would have said, that more and more people all over are learning about the tremendous, inexhaustible ways how laughter helps us. So thank you for having this as such a germane topic for everything that's going on.
Well, great. I'm so happy to hear that we're all feeling the same way, and that we realize the inexhaustible resource that we have in laughter. And I want to share with you that I'll be more than happy to give you an email address of mine. So, because I do have a few other things that I really would like to share with you, that I think that many of you, after talking tonight, would be really interested in checking out a couple of these resources. And that email address, so that you can have it now, is JL88KIRKMYERS@yahoo.com. And I will have a list of a few things one thing in particular, if you all haven't seen it, I know you will want to look into. And if there is there anybody else that would like to share how laughter has impacted their life tonight? Well, another way to get a laugh a day is to gather jokes, cartoons, quotes, anything that might tickle your fancy, and put them into a small photo album that you can keep in your car. This way, you can start your day with one and end your day with another. And if you're doing that before you get going, or on your way home, or on your way to work, who knows? It could mean the difference between road rage and a smile to the guy in the other car. Another thing to check out, and if you haven't watched this video, you need to watch the Siri Ravi Shachner laughing meditation video that's online. And if you just that'll be on. I'll be happy to send you that information on my email, so that you can check it out, because it really is amazing. That just in itself will change you And I guess at this time I'd like to ask if anyone has a comment about what might be in their heart and mind as we begin our closing for tonight. Judy, I thank you for your words, and I'd really like to come and see the clown and run into you sometime. I think we need to get together on that.
That's easy to arrange.
That's right.
And I want to echo what was just said. We all know it, but again, it's a tiny thing to add, but it has enormous benefits. To laugh in the morning, the Tibetan Buddhists do this, we know. It's part of Zen Buddhism, and you laugh before you go to bed at night. It doesn't matter what you laugh at. It can be that you can't find your toothbrush or whatever, or something that happened that was not funny at the time, but in remuneration the next morning, it is funny because it's part of the human condition. And so a tiny bit of laughter in the morning just changes the entire system, and we rise up to the higher vibrations. So really makes a difference.
And see, in my mind, I do the Mary Poppins thing in my head with the umbrella up in the air. Because to me, that's what laughter does. It just fills you full of lightness, and before you know it, you're closer to God. And everything just kind of falls away.
Do you have time for a quick joke or not?
Absolutely.
Take time from anybody else. All right, everyone knows the answer to this. Why did the chicken cross the road? Everybody knows. Okay, everybody knows that. Why did the Hollywood chicken cross the road? Come on, California. Why did the Hollywood chicken cross the road? To see Gregory Peck. You have to be a certain age to understand that.
Yeah.
I have one more and I'll quit because I've been using this one for the past year, and it's ask me if I took a bath.
Did you take a bath?
Why? Is one missing?
Oh, Judy.
Try them on people in the store when you're waiting in an unending line, or whatever. And it just changes everything.
Yes.
I'd like to share real quick that the Lakota people, they believe that laughter is so healing. They have a sacred clown, and it's called a heyoka. And not only do they dress like clowns, but they act up and they get everybody laughing. And the beautiful thing about them is they do everything backwards and everything wrong. So everybody laughs at them. And then the people that make mistakes in the future, they don't feel so bad about it because people start laughing and it breaks up the tension. It's really beautiful.
Wow, I bet.
So, Judy, you've got sacred clown medicine.
Okay, I think we've had a lovely evening. So thank you for joining us in this spirit gathering. In this teleconference, this call may be archived as an MP3 at www.tzaddi.org. Phone access to the recording of this call is available until next month's call. For playback of the recording, dial 712-432-1085 with access code 990322#. We do hope you'll join us for our next spirit gathering on Tuesday, April 15th, 2014. These calls are hosted by Tzaddi, an interspiritual metaphysical organization founded in California in 1964. Tzaddi welcomes, nurtures, and supports people in celebrating and more directly experiencing their relationship with the loving presence of the divine. Our programs are open to people of any race, color, national, or ethnic origin. Visit www.tzaddi.org to learn more. We will close now with thanks and a blessing and a brief meditation. Thanks to Tzaddi founders Amy Keys, Dorothy Blackmere. Thanks to all of you who have been here in part of our community tonight for your feedback, your information, your thoughts. Thanks to the Divine who supports us always, even when we are not aware of it. I know that meditation for some is finding silence. Many people might be surprised to think of laughter as a form of meditation. Yet not only is laughing meditation one of the simplest forms of meditation, but also it is a very powerful one, as we've discussed. The physical act of laughing is one of the few actions involving the body, mind, and the soul. When we laugh, we give ourselves over to the present moment. Nothing else matters but the now. We also are able to transcend physical and mental stresses. Practiced in the morning, laughing meditation can lend a joyful quality to the entire day. Practiced in the evening, laughing meditation is a potent relaxant that has been known to inspire pleasant dreams and restful sleep. Laughter also can help open our eyes to previously unnoticed absurdities. And boy, are there a lot of those that can make life seem less serious. So unless you're in a very noisy place, I would like everyone to unmute their phones at this time. If at all possible, put your phone down where you can hear me and stand up. If you are moved to participate in any way tonight, for the rest of the program, please feel free. This is time for you to share yourself. So now if you're standing up, we've been sitting for 45 minutes or better. I want you to wiggle your toes and stretch your arms up over your head and lock your hands together so that you intertwine your fingers. And give yourself a good long stretch. Oh! And a yawn or two would be really good because it'll relax your face muscles and open up your throat, get your belly loosened. Big stretch. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Now, bring your arms down, relax your shoulders, and turn up the corners of your mouth. Turn them upwards into a smiling position. And smile softly. Now think of something that has made you laugh in the past. Something your grandkids did or your children did. Or the children in a classroom or a Bible group. And now remember that moment. And also remember that we've invited our ancestors to enter our circle with us to help us enjoy this time. Now broaden your smile. Don't exert any force. And just laugh. Oh, you can do better than that.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
your belly? Can you feel your cheeks burn? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Laugh with yourself. Laugh about yourself. Enjoy yourself. And now take a seat. Put your feet flat on the floor. And close your eyes. And breathe in through your nose. And I want to hear every breath go out. And out through your mouth. Oh, good sigh. And still your body. Be aware of the silence. Ignore any other thoughts that come into your mind. Let them drift away. Just feel the shift in your body. Be aware of the sensations and the feelings that you're feeling now. Be still with these feelings. And so it is. I want to thank all of the lighthearted spirits for joining our circle tonight. Go in peace and love with laughter in your hearts. Good night, all.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.